What up? What up? What up? It's Ibn Web, Ib Web, Quran Sam here. Official thanks thing I got going on here. Let's pause it for a second because gentleman I have coming on, Mr. Mullins here. I just think about, you know, men in my life, obviously my father first and foremost, but extensions of my father as far as me just having positive male figures in my life that, while I'm done well with themselves and just, stand up individuals that I was able to, see and hopefully I'm modeling after them now, what have you here, as an adult myself here. Mr. Mullins is one of them, lived in my complex. I probably 100 steps from my apartment building as far as over to his as well too. But just have an opportunity to have him come on and, share a little bit of his walk and just have some conversation. It's been probably a few years since I last seen him. So be a good time. Good time. I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, a little nervous, but it's all good. So let me just jump into this. Hold tight. Nah, I appreciate you taking some time out to do this here. I'm very, very, taken back by this. So thank you.
Yeah, well, like just like old times, man, and like seeing you as a young man and striving and you got your family and everything going, that's great.
Nah, thank you, thank you. I know. How's the missus?
She's fine, man. The two of them outside now, they're gonna try and put something on the grill, to like have a little semi cookout for themselves.
Okay, nah, nothing wrong with that. No, nothing wrong. Gotta enjoy it. Gotta enjoy it.
How's
Nah,
your family? How's your
every,
family? Everybody good?
yes. Everybody's good. Nah, thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
That's good.
Nah,
Good to see you too, man. Good to see you.
likewise, likewise. I'm not sure what all Wes has told you or shared about some of this stuff. This is something I just been doing probably a little over a year. So just catching up with individuals such as yourself here, just having the opportunity, talk a little bit, conversate, but more importantly, even I think it's more for me here, just to hear a little your journey, your walk here. I mean, in regards to your life, whatever you willing to share, not share, it's all good. But so it's been good. I've been having a blast doing this. So like I said, I'm really taken back by you just willing to do this.
Oh yeah, anytime. It's good. As a matter of fact, it's good to hear from you, man. Like,
Yes.
and I know you're not in the state here with me, but it's still good to hear from you.
No,
Good to
absolutely.
see you. I think the last time that I spoke to you, I think you was at his cookout.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the cookout here. So I know you down in South Jersey here, and you spent a good chunk of your life up north for a little bit too. But even before getting up there,
Yeah.
are you're not originally from Jersey, are you?
Oh, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, okay, wow,
That's where I was born.
wow, wow. How was your childhood down there? You stayed down there for a long time, or?
Yeah, I was there for I guess about 14, maybe 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why uh I would say decided to like come to New Jersey and you know, kind of change the lifestyle, you know what I mean? Because I could see myself during that time as a young man and the things that I had did in the past, even though I was still young, I think about I was about 19 years old.
Mm.
Figured things began to come to me, and I was thinking like, well, 19, I'm not gonna be 19 all the time. So now I gotta
Mm.
see if I can make some other type of move in my life to see, where I can go from here.
Mm.
And
Wow.
but during the time in Memphis, and I ended up with a broken home.
Mm.
Like I had my siblings. I had two twins that was beneath me. They was younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
and the two of us, I think, caught the worst end of the split between my mother and my father.
Mm-hmm.
because once that family structure broke apart like that, we ended up there with my father, and it was kind of tough going during that time.
Mm,
So it wasn't a good thing for a young man
mm-hmm.
to like um try and navigate going forward.
No, it sounds like, and especially, I mean, during that time, and I'm thinking too, just being, in the South as well too, with everything else going on.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And like it seemed like that the opportunities there was not available for me, and the things that I was seeking, it seemed like it wasn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I just tried to make a life change, during that time.
Mm-hmm. Were you able to, while you was down there, I mean, just sharing a little bit of that, did you have any escapes as far as activities that just kind of escape from what was going on?
Basketball.
Okay.
Basketball, and we had what you would call a little hangout spot
Mm-hmm.
where all the young people would go and like have our little music and
Mm-hmm.
dancing and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and even all through the night and everything, and like just rugged
Okay.
time as a young person during that time, around 15, 16 years old, into everything,
Mm-hmm.
a little shooting dice and everything, and just
Yeah.
and all of that, So I got to the point, like I was still saying before, once I got to be around 19 years old, I could see it like, wow, like this is in the past now. So I got to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, seek something different as I go forward.
No, understandable. I
And,
know. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
and then that's when I was able to like make my move to New Jersey with my mother because she's the one that was here.
Oh, okay.
And I was living with, it was just my father and my two younger brothers that was left there.
Mm-hmm.
And we like I said, you can imagine how things were during that time, not having a mother there or any female involved in the household things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what,
Definitely.
yeah. Well, wasn't nothing easy, but at the time, it was it was like taking place, being young like that. I didn't really see the real negative part of it. It just seemed like it was a part of my life at that time. But it wasn't something that I found out I wasn't going to be able to continue to do
Mm-hmm.
because there was a little violence also involved in it. Like gang stuff like involved in that. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yes.
And all of them. There's some things I might have did during that time that I wasn't too pleased with doing because like it wasn't a good time. Like not all the way. If you look back at it now,
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the move to New Jersey and just start to make a life change for myself.
Okay.
Man, began to like, I, when I left from the South and came this way, I had completed my 11th year in school. My last year of school, I came to New Jersey and had anticipate to like go right into East Orange High
Mm.
and to finish my last year.
Okay.
And not knowing circumstances during that time, I had no idea what it was going to take for me to be able to like transfer from the South to New Jersey here to
Mm-hmm.
get into school.
Mm-hmm.
So all the credentials that I had during that time was only a report card. And once I got here, and somehow my family here didn't have any insight on what it was going to take more than a report card to get into the school system. Once I went over to apply and get into the school system, they told me I had to get a transcript before I could start off for my last year. And when I made contact with down south to get my transcript, it took almost 3 months to get it back. Now that's throwing me back from the beginning.
Right.
So when the school term ended, when I did begin to start and the school term ended, I had credits to make up.
Okay.
They was trying to offer some type of summer school type of program for me. And somehow I didn't participate in it like I should have. Being a young person like that and new environment and everything, you know. So when the school year started over again, I went back to try and apply to make up the credits there to get my diploma. And the principal there refused me. And like, I think that was one of the biggest hurts in my mother's life, because she was with me, the two of us went over there. And he refused to let me come back and make up the credits that I need. So to make a long story short, as time went on, I ended up have to go and get my GED. I paid for that myself and got that done myself. So that's what happened with the education part. But the time that I went to East Orange High, they had basketball programs over there at that time also.
Okay.
And went out for the team, and not bragging on myself, but I was I was kind of doing it to them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then it came down to the point I ran into another obstacle. And when they started making the cut, the coach decided that he was going to only take 2 seniors. I said, wow. So as a matter of fact, I went to him and he told me that, well, I'm going to only carry 2 seniors. So he carried 2 seniors. He carried one of the seniors would be considered the big man on the court for the basketball.
Okay.
So naturally he took him. Then he took one other small guard that was my size, that I know did not have the talent that I had, but they both were local boys.
Okay.
They were homeboys, you know, so I became odd man out. So what happened is I said, okay, I'll just, I'll accept that. It was kind of a setback and everything. But then I said, well, my basketball, I'm not going to give up on it. I began to play summer league, Elmwood Park.
Okay.
This is real down there, man. I mean,
yes.
7 days I used to be down Elmwood Park, playing over and over and over, playing against good competition. And people that I know, that you would know the name of some of the best people down that came out of Newark, that I was familiar with them.
Okay.
Like I remember there's time that Cleo Hill.
Yeah, Mr. Hill, yes.
Yeah, he used to come down to Elmwood Park from Newark. He used to always come down to Elmwood Park. And on Sunday mornings and play out games and everything. And he was during that time, one of the best, I would say one of the best players out of Newark.
Yes.
Because he went to the NBA. I don't know if you knew about that or not.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the whole blackballing and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he went down there. but I would say he was one of the best out of Newark.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another younger person. You might not, I know you never heard of him. His name was John Snow,
No, I haven't. No.
but he was good out of Newark too.
Yeah, yeah.
As a matter of fact, Wesley knows about him.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley could tell you about Mr. Snow.
Okay.
He was good. He was tough. He was
Yeah.
tough.
Mm.
So I had the opportunity to play against a lot of competition. And then I played against some older players um, down at Elmwood Park that was before my time. Like, you don't remember this guy here. The guy's named Sherman White. And he was before my time, but like, I think at that particular time, he went to LIU in New York,
Okay.
and he was one of the biggest basketball players I would say might have been in the country because he was like about 6'9" or 6'10". At that particular time, that was like one of the top players in the country.
Mm.
And he had got drafted, from what I heard, he had got drafted by the Knicks. But he got involved in some kind of payola or whatever.
Okay.
And that didn't last, but eventually he became, just going to different parks and playing basketball and all of that. And I had a chance to like play against people like that also.
Mm-hmm. I can only imagine like the runs down there. I mean,
yeah.
I can only imagine.
Oh yes, big time runs.
Mm-hmm.
Harry James was down there, but Harry James was under me at that particular time.
Okay.
So he came a little later afterwards, but
mm-hmm.
that's my basketball story down there, man.
Yeah. So even with the playing, I mean, obviously the whole and with East Orange, obviously is a lot of history with East Orange, and it's just interesting, just to with the whole team thing. I know you talked about not making the team. Did you feel you was somewhat outcasted just because coming from the South? Did you still have the Southern dialect and everything about you here, where they probably just kind of just shunned you a little bit just because of all that stuff?
Yeah, I could see that favoritism.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't a local boy.
Yes.
You only carried 2 local boys,
mm-hmm.
both were seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happened with that situation. So I felt kind of, like saying, well, I know that.
Yeah.
Now, I know maybe if you talk about talent, okay, I can't compete with this guy, the big guy, because he's like 6'5", 6'6".
Right.
So naturally, you would take it. But the smaller guy that was my size, he couldn't carry my jock strap. And I know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I proved it down at Elmwood Park.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like down at Elmwood Park, I had a name there.
Mm-hmm.
I had a name, Lee Mullins.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, if Harry James, may Allah bless his soul, but he's not here now, but he could tell you about Lee Mullins.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I tried to do later on, after I ended up getting married and having my son,
mm-hmm.
I said at one particular time, we was right there on Carroll Street. Now I'm moving up to Carroll Street now, right?
Okay, before you get to Carroll, I wanted to ask, as far as I know, outside of with the whole basketball thing, and just when did it click for you? Like you was ready to have a family and everything else, and where like that whole adult thing changed.
Well, that changed when I became around 20, 21 years old. I began to like think about a family, right?
Yeah.
That's when I started like seeking someone that I felt that could help me with the family,
mm-hmm.
a good young lady, a good wife that would make a good wife. And with the will of God, I ended up with a good wife and a blessing from the Creator,
Yes, absolutely.
And from that is what I got the most special blessing was my son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, It wasn't easy during that time because I was like moving from job to job,
Okay.
And eventually I got uh, a pretty decent job at one time before I got married. That was making. I was at the particular time I was staying with my mother, and in the household there, I had a sister there also. But I had ended up getting to the point that I was able to like make more money
Mm-hmm.
with the type of job I had more than anybody in the household. I ended up getting a job working for a milk company called Borden's Milk Company.
Okay.
And I was making more money than anybody in the household. So actually, I felt good, felt real good about myself then.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, I started thinking, like I said, start thinking about, like having a family,
Okay.
and met my wife, which was a young lady from North Carolina,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and we began to see each other. And she had relatives in New York, Brooklyn,
Okay.
and during the time she had relatives in Brooklyn, she also had relatives here in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
She was here in New Jersey when I met her,
Okay.
but as time went on, she had brothers and sisters over in New York,
Mm.
and she wanted to like she felt that she wanted to go and spend more time in New York, being closer to them than the people that she was living with here.
Okay.
But they still was relatives, all relatives. And what happened is like we came to the point of saying, well, like, what are we gonna do? I said, well, all right. She said, Lee, would you come over? Would you be willing to come over to New York? I said,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I said, okay. I said, we'll see what happens. I've never been to New York.
Yeah.
Never traveled to New York in my life, man. But one of the greatest experiences I had was traveling to New York, to Brooklyn, Best Side. I would like, I would like leave East Orange, go down to Penn Station, take the 118 bus all the way to New York over, and take
Okay.
the subway, the A train,
Mm.
all the way down to Flatbush Avenue, down in that section,
Yes.
and go over to and met my wife. And all of a sudden, we kept going together. And in a couple of years, we began to get married. And this is how I ended up, like getting married here in New Jersey and starting my family off over here.
Mm.
And and we lived a couple of places before we came to Dodgetown,
Okay.
but eventually we ended up in Dodgetown. When we came to Dodgetown, I think my son might have been about maybe 3, 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the beginning of it.
Yeah. Did you know you was gonna? Did you know you was gonna have a son?
I knew I was going to have a son,
Okay.
but I just didn't know how I was going to, accept that, and what type of father I would be.
Okay.
But once, once God, once Allah blessed me like that to have
Mm.
a son,
Mm-hmm.
then I recall that one particular time, right there on Carroll Street, I was just sitting back. I just had got off from work at night, and I was sitting back in the chair, and we were observing television at the time, and he was sitting on the floor just observing television. And I just looked down, and I looked at him, and I said, "Wow,
Yeah.
I've been blessed with a son." I said, like, what do I have to offer?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because he's not going to be this age all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, what do I have to offer my son that I would think that I thought would be beneficial to him going forward? And I said, well, now, I know he got to go to school and get his education and everything. What else can I offer for him to like try and give him self-confidence as a young
Yes,
man and, like being a young black man too.
that's right.
You know what I mean? Like knowing he's going to run into all type of obstacles and everything. I just said, well, what can I give him or do I have anything to give him?
Hmm.
Like, help him out with it. That's when I decided, I said, well, I could play ball a little bit, and basketball had became a big sport
Hmm.
in Essex County.
Hmm.
The Hurleys, I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yes, yes.
The Hurleys control basketball in New Jersey.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, all over the country.
Hmm.
The Hurley had the number, St. Anthony had the number one team
Right, right.
all over the country. And the Hurleys was right here. And my son had to compete against all those people.
Hmm.
And that's to the point. And we worked hard.
That's right.
We used to get up and I used to take him down to Elmwood Park and he, and then also well the back came later, but I used to take him down to Elmwood Park and we would be down there. The first thing that I taught my son is like dribbling the ball in a circle, not straight out, but being able to go
Okay.
circle,
Hmm.
around circle,
Hmm.
360 degrees, which is harder than just going straight out. Because when you're turning like that, you got to make certain moves with the ball and your body.
Yes.
And I knew that was going to be something good because when he started playing ball, he would know he wouldn't have a real hard time adjusting to certain situations. And I remember, excuse me, you were much younger than him, I guess. Well, you was a little younger.
Yeah. West, they got me about, I think, 3 years. I think about.
Yeah, right. So what I would do, I would get up in the morning, we would go to the park.
Hmm.
It would be hot, and he wouldn't really want to go.
Hmm.
I would take him on anyway. And he was saying I was kind of hard on him, but I was teaching him to like the game of basketball. And after we finished playing the game of basketball, we would come back by the store.
Mm.
I'd get him ice pops and sodas and everything. And all of a sudden, like he began to like the game, and he loved the game.
Hmm.
And then he became a pretty decent player, man.
Yes, yes. And even before his evolution here, just about the whole father thing is there's no manual for it. I mean, as far as how did you consider your parenting style here as far as a father? What was your style like?
As far as being a parent,
As far as being a father, your style. How do you looking back on it as far as your style here?
uh, I just wanted to like prepare him.
Okay.
My goal was to like prepare him for life, not so much, myself.
Okay.
So I put him first, for everything.
Hmm.
And but as far as being a black man in America, I consider myself from where I came from
Hmm.
as being successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because like I look back now and I see my son, my wife, and we've been blessed with I got a beautiful little granddaughter,
Hmm.
and she have began to like develop into, her life.
Hmm.
She's a pretty decent ball player also,
Hmm.
and she have achieved a lot in basketball.
Hmm.
But her father taught her like I taught him.
Yes. Yes.
And she took that and it's helping her out. Matter of fact, she even got scholarships. She was turned down offer to go to Seton Hall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She could have went to Seton Hall. A lot of people don't understand why she didn't accept Seton Hall. She just didn't feel she wanted to go there.
Right. No, and it's her life. And
It's
it's her
her
life.
life, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's where she wanted to go in life. But she's still, I feel, is one of the best players, young girls around anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
My son took her to New York when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
She played over there,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like well rounded. And also, her intellect is good, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's she's good. She's good.
Yeah. Just to sit back is just interesting. I know you mentioned your granddaughter, and then also from you, then you have West, and also your granddaughter. Everybody have this love for basketball. How great is that?
Well, that's good because I felt that basketball was like um, I would say it was something that made me as a young man feel have a lot of confidence
Mm-hmm.
in being able to do something
Mm-hmm.
and know you could do it, knew you could do it and do it good. Because I felt that I could shoot a ball at that particular time just as good as anybody, even a pro.
Yes.
I felt that I could do that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I figured that if I could give that back to somebody, or not only wrestler, because
You coach. You was a coach.
oh yes, I coached him up at Immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to like get Chuck because Chuck was right there next door to West.
Right.
I tried to like get him into like going to school and he was a pretty good basketball player too, but
Right. Right.
he went off in another direction, so
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do too much about that. You know, I kind of hate that. But then again, there were young men like you that
Mm-hmm.
Wesley had ended up, you, Mark Holloway, and
Yes.
all the little Dodgetown posse, as he called you all, the posse. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yes. Yes.
I enjoyed being around all of you all over there, man. It was great to be over there.
Yeah, that complex. It was definitely a melting pot. I mean, a lot of different, family dynamics throughout, but in the same breath, we was all family,
Yes,
and I think and even to this day here, I think that's one of my greatest joys, just being able to grow up there, and again, people such as yourself, and I'm gonna give you a name here because when Wes said he was able to get you on here, um, very probably close to you, literally close to you, living next door here. He crossed my mind, and periodically he crosses my mind. He's no longer with us. He passed. I forget how old. I had to be less than 10 years old. Mr. Dennis, remember Mr. Dennis,
yeah,
next door
yeah,
neighbor.
yeah, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
literally next to upstairs from you.
Yes, he
Upstairs.
did. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. So it's just interesting, like he crossed my mind as I was thinking about, coming on here. And I just yourself and him and just all the extensions of my father here, just everybody just, as far as black men in particular, as far as just
Right,
I
right.
mean, just and you mentioned Mark Harwood, his father, the
Mr.
Washingtons, Mr.
Holloway.
Washington,
Oh,
every
yeah,
right. And I'm forgetting folks, not by accident, but again, but just having an opportunity just to see just upstanding black men in my life here as far as adults.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like and like I said, if there was anything that I could, pass on to in the neighborhood,
Hmm.
as far as with the young men like you all,
Yes.
hey, I would pass it. I wouldn't hold nothing back.
Hmm.
And I felt that if Wesley had anything that he could pass and show example with you all,
Hmm.
then that would be a help also.
Hmm.
Just like I said with Chuck, but you were a little bit back behind them.
Yes.
But I tried to like, you know, give a little something and just hope that it would be productive for somebody to use, and
Mm-hmm.
not just my son, but even anybody could use. But basketball to me was like it gave me all type of self-esteem and confidence, man. I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you. It made me feel like that. I don't know. It just made me feel like, it's good to know when you can do something, and you know you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not feel like I'm not. I don't have no talent to be able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's floating around, and like getting into everything and nothing positive.
Right.
But basketball was a mental thing for me also,
Mm-hmm.
because it made me be more competitive, and not just basketball itself, but in life.
Yes. Yes.
In life,
Mm.
it does that for you. When you go in life, you feel, like that you can compete.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely. A lot of life skills with basketball here.
sure,
Uh,
right.
I just want to know how did you do, like, from working to trying to be the best husband possible to raising a son to travel, like how did you look at how did you do all of this?
Well, the main thing about that was like I was blessed with a good wife,
Yes.
Wesley's mother.
Yes.
When I was working nights and things like that in the post office,
Mm-hmm.
and like she would like take up all the slack that I wasn't there to do, like going to basketball practice.
Okay.
She took all that on herself, and she did a lot of that. I mean, a lot of with
Mm.
my sister, the two of them. They should take them to basketball practice when I was working doing nights, and like that was a benefit
Mm-hmm.
to me, and to having that type of support during
Mm-hmm.
that time, and a benefit to my son
Mm-hmm.
to have that type of support.
Yeah.
And like I said, being a black man, we don't have the easiest time in life, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to like struggle and try and do the best you can, but you got to stand first.
Yes.
You got to stand. I feel that first thing is you got to be the one that stands first,
Mm-hmm.
showing your strength.
Mm-hmm.
And I credit that to like all in like being competitive, like I said in basketball,
Mm, okay.
saying competing,
Mm-hmm.
don't want nobody to outdo you, or it's get like that, man. Once you get that in you, that's the way you survive.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
The way you survive.
And speaking of surviving, I mean, like the times that we're in now, and I mean, again, I know you've seen a whole lot, throughout your life here. I mean, is it crazier now, or was it a lot worse back when you were growing up, teenage, young adult years, the way society is now?
Going back, like I was just telling my wife and my son this last night, and I learned this from part of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And this I learned, and they said that the youth will show you the signs of time. The youth, and this has been like 60 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
the youth will show you the signs of time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I look back now and I see young people today, they're not too spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As far as like going to church or wherever, they don't have too much spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference I see now
Mm-hmm.
than the time that when I was coming along. And that's very important. That's matter of fact, that's the number one thing in anybody's life
Mm-hmm.
is the spiritual part of life.
Yes.
Because like we only here for a visit. We're not going to stay here.
Yeah, you're just passing through. Yeah.
That's right. And so, like, now you got to decide on, you know, what you're going to do in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you're going what type of person you're going to try and to be.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, you know, then the creator is going to be the judge of what you know, like whatever we do,
Yes.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for everybody.
That's right. That's right.
Just me, everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I think that every man should strive, every person I would say should strive. The most important thing is like, is this is not permanent. So what type of belief do you have? You know, like a lot of people might have doubts about life, about like, oh, well, what about God?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody never seen God. You never seen God. You hear a lot of people say that. And you know what my answer to that is? I say this to them. Can you see the wind?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you see the wind?
Mm-hmm.
It blows,
That's right.
but can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So just because you can't see God, that doesn't mean he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you, a lot of people got to get that thought pattern. And
Yeah.
then I'm telling you, they'll have a lot of peace of mind if they can just get that type of thought pattern and believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But and I tell my son that all the time. Don't let nobody. That's the first thing. Is spirituality,
Oh.
belief.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's you gotta believe, man. That's you gotta believe. Or if you don't believe, then you just end up being fuel for the fire.
Yes. Yeah, and you gotta have your own convictions. You can't get to your point here. Yes.
You know, and like because we're not gonna stay here,
Mm-hmm.
and can't nobody tell you exactly where they're going, and
Nah.
they know for
Nah.
sure.
Nah. Mm-hmm.
So things that have been prophesied, observe and see if there's any truth to whatever has been prophesied.
Mm-hmm.
Go by what's been prophesied. And if you live long enough, you see some of the reality and what's been prophesied.
Mm-hmm. And I know sometimes too with life, sometimes things do repeat themselves, you know, as far as what's going on in the world and everything that you're just talking about as well too.
Yes, but the creator doesn't change though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like no matter what goes on in the world, the creator is not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Now the point is like I also read something else in spirituality. It says, if you have anything other than the creator, then let it save you in the end.
Mm.
Let it save you in the end. If you got anything other than the creator, let it save you at the end.
Mm.
And I think about that a lot
Yeah.
because you're not going to be here forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So if somebody created us, if we're here, we are aware that we are here.
Yes.
So it's got to be a creator for us to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't create ourselves.
Mm. That's right. That's right.
So that's the telling point.
Mm-hmm.
the end results of everything is like the creator first, and then
Mm.
everything else comes second.
Yeah.
But as a young man, you don't gather this type of information as a young man. When
Yeah,
I
you evolve, you evolve.
yeah, time brings it on,
Hmm.
because like I know there's a lot of people probably got doubts and everything, and like I said, today's young man, you got all this distraction, you got drugs and young people that are lost,
Hmm.
no direction, no foundation. It's not really good. And it's not getting better.
Yeah. Mm.
Not getting better.
And it's interesting you mentioned that the distraction piece too. I mean, a lot of things uh, beneath all the distractions that's going on that we should be paying more attention to. But with sometimes with different things going on, those distractions it's just tons of distractions that could just throw us off or keep us less educated about things. And to your point too, just how important it is to just stay on top of things. And we're just passing, like you said, we just passing through here. And I think, and while we're here, we might as well get the truth. I mean, because again, I know a lot of times the truth is hidden from us. We got to go double, triple, quadruple check sources and everything as well too. So, and I know you mentioned as far as just even your journey here, like how'd you end up down to South Jersey here? What was did you always feel like once you was in Dogtown when you leave, you were head to South Jersey? And I know a lot of people sometimes say when they say South, they going the Carolinas and everything else here.
Well, what happened is once I retired from the post office
Mm-hmm.
after 33 years, I said, well, it got to the point in Dogtown, things had begun to change a lot there
Mm-hmm.
to the point where there was a certain type of element that had began to come in.
Okay.
And I felt that just, that we had to just like relocate.
Mm-hmm.
And my son was an inspiration in helping me to like relocate and like help finding me a place to like, to that's going to be a little more quiet, a little more peaceful.
Yes, absolutely.
And this way, we just found this place down here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a adult community,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's good for the mental aspect for my wife too, because where we was at before, she was going through a lot of things there,
Okay.
and so it was good for to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if you go back to Dogtown now, I don't even see young people there anymore. Like you young guys there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see those type of young people there anymore. It look deserted, really.
Yeah, my mom, she's over in the townhouses now. So to your point here, I don't when I go visit her, or just I purposely come through the boulevard that way versus going around to where she's at just to see if I see anything. And to your point, I don't see anybody.
Right, right. I know. It's like
Yeah.
I remember when you always there, you always used to like have the benches,
The benches, yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and all of you would be together,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had the basketball court in the back.
We go to the back. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like it was just lively, more lively during that time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
No.
It's the old saying, like they say, nothing stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
true fact.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing but God.
Mm-hmm.
God ain't
That's
gonna.
right.
It ain't gonna. God ain't gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna change. And
Now,
I tell you another thing is people, all people if they can get a good thought about the spirituality of life and realize that they're not going to be here forever, I think they would try and make a life change.
No, I agree. Yes. I definitely agree.
Because like we're living at a time like it doesn't matter what type of degree or what school you've been to.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be here no matter what type of education you got. You're going to be here for a short period of time and you're out of here. Now, people can take the idea of saying, well, when I'm dead, I'm gone, and but you're talking about your destiny. How do you know your destiny if you're not your creator?
Mm-hmm.
So when you pass away, everybody say, well, you don't know this or that. But like I said, I just don't believe that this is all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe,
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
I'm gonna tell you, I believe in paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that it's going to be a few people on that road, but people going the other way is going to be crowded. Because you know how many people believe is.
Yeah.
Not many people believe.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what color you are.
Mm-hmm.
We all gonna go.
That's right.
So all I'm doing is just like whatever time that Allah have blessed me with, I'm just gonna just take it and just go with it and try and do the best I can.
Yes. And with that time, what you doing with yourself now to stay active?
Well, I get up and I maybe twice a week I go and jog about 2 miles.
That's right. You was a jogger too. I remember. Yes, it's coming back to me. That's right.
I still get that in.
Okay.
Not as fast, but I still get it. I get it in.
That's right. I remember.
And yeah. And my wife also, she walks, and then I'll just be a little bit in front of her, but we get it in.
Okay.
We've been blessed like that, man.
And speaking of the wife here, I need some secrets here as far as what's the key to you guys just being together for so long here. Being married myself now, actually I hit 10 years this year. So but now I guess marriage really starts.
Yeah, being together so long is, first of all, you gotta believe. And then like if you believe, I believe that the creator puts you together. It's not man putting you together.
Okay.
The creator puts you together. And that's the way I look at it. Now everybody have their own thoughts.
Yes.
But like my thought is, I always tell my wife, I think that it's not the minister or the rabbi or the preacher puts you together. I think God puts you together. And like if you can take that with you and you care about each other,
yes,
it'll work, man. And I'm talking about almost 60 years of it.
Wow.
Almost 60 years.
Wow. That's all right.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to come to a time where you're not going to get upset, or your mate might get upset. But like it is like the most important things is that you care and you believe in each other, man. That's the most important.
Nah, good to know. Another thing I someone shared with me with marriage, you gotta gotta have a slight case of amnesia too. You know, meaning like to forget some things along the way. You gotta have a slight case of amnesia a little bit.
Well, what you try and do is you try and live a life where you don't want to do things that's so harmful
Right.
that it's always something that you can bring up and remind somebody about that's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, like you don't ever want to get to that point where you do something so, you know, I would say terrible
Mm-hmm.
that you can't say, "Oh, could you forgive me?" Because some things that you do, and it's kind of hard for people to say they might not have can have amnesia about it, man.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You gotta think of that, man. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know nobody's perfect.
Right.
Only God is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But God gives man the power to reason, to think, make choices.
Yes.
And you know, like we make our choices, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can either make a good choice or make a bad choice.
Right. But there is a choice. Right.
It's a choice.
Yes.
And power to reason and think. He gives you that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I read and go with.
Yeah. Had a had a couple of questions I wanted to ask. I
Yeah,
mean,
go ahead, help yourself.
sure, sure. Just what's the best part about being Lee Mullins Sr.?
I bet it's like I look back at my past and know that if I wasn't a believer in the Creator,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe I would have took another journey in life and went in some other direction that would have been destructive,
Mm-hmm.
and I might not even be here now.
Mm.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So the most important thing about that is my family,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I give praise to God for that, man. I'm telling you,
Mm. Absolutely.
most important thing.
Absolutely. It's
And
a
it go
part.
both ways. It go
It
both
goes, no,
ways.
definitely. No, it definitely does. It definitely does. Definitely does. A part B to that, as far as what's been the best part about fatherhood.
The best part about it is like knowing that I was able to like do something to help somebody else.
Mm.
You know, that's to me it is the best part. I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel that like everything that I did in life was a negative,
Yes.
wasn't even positive,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And to see that like I was able to like contribute to life for somebody else,
Yes.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And not being selfish. If I have something to give to any person
Mm-hmm.
that's beneficial,
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like that. I'm
Yes.
not a selfish person.
No, no, I know that. I know that firsthand. I know that firsthand here. Now, a book on your life. What would you call it?
Would it be good or bad?
That's up to you. The title. That's up to you.
I would say the beginning of the book, maybe not so good,
Okay.
but the end of the book, I would say great.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of the book would be "Do It the Same Way."
Mm. Mm.
If you had to do it over again, do it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't change nothing
Mm-hmm.
because I feel that from what I experienced as a young man and been blessed to get to where I am now,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be doing everything negative, man, and got here,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know,
Mm-hmm.
blessed like this. But because I've been blessed,
Mm-hmm.
but do the things the right way
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and positive.
Yes.
Do the things the right way is the best way.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, definitely. And you might have answered this question just by saying that, because I was gonna say, this point in your life, what advice would you have given that 17, 18-year-old you? What advice would you give him?
Seek God and knowledge first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do that first. That's the
Yes.
first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't have nobody to tell me that from the beginning. You know, nobody told me that at 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody never told me to seek God first. That doesn't mean you're gonna be perfect because I'm not perfect,
Right.
you know, and I know that. But I know at the end that it's gonna be left up to the creator about my book of deeds, whatever it is.
That's right.
You know, so a young person seek spirituality first. Now, where you gonna go and get that at? That's kind of hard now today
Mm-hmm.
because it's very hard to like seek a place to really get a good background in life. As a matter of fact, that's why you don't see many people going to young people like you're talking about 17 years old. You don't
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of 17-year-old young people going to church or to the mosque or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not the black people.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that. So what are they seeking? What are they seeking in life? See, that's the thing. It's the
Good,
thing.
good question. Yes.
Yeah. What are they seeking in life? You're 17 years old. What are you seeking in life? What's your goal? What's your plan?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have nobody to like give me no advice about, you know, like what to seek in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I know the only way that that could have happened is that I got a blessing from the Creator in order for me to be able to do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do all this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have that.
Yes.
I had to have that. And even you, even at the age you are now, I don't know too much about your life or your family, but in the end results, man, it's all about what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
And can you believe like if you're not sealed? Some people are sealed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you get sealed, then like I, there's some spiritual thing. Once you get sealed, that God will leave you in that state.
Yes.
No matter no matter how you try and get back on the path, you can't get back on the path.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to get sealed.
Right. Right.
You know, the young man definitely don't get sealed
Mm-hmm.
because that's destruction.
No. Well. No. Well said. Well said. Here's a fun one here. I'm sure this might have been talked about amongst the family, but in your prime, your prime athletic years, who's a better basketball player, yourself, Wes, or Olivia?
It's got to be my son.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be because
Okay.
like, I'm gonna tell you, man. West had a West. If it if situation in the country was different, if Wesley didn't have to compete with the Hurleys and everybody during that time because they
Mm-hmm.
dominated basketball,
Mm-hmm.
my son would have been able to do anything he wanted to do in basketball because he had that type of talent. And I'm not being prejudiced by saying that,
Mm-hmm.
but he had that talent and he could do it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not taking nothing away from anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
but I know he can play.
Yes.
He can play
Mm-hmm.
and he could play.
Yeah.
And he still didn't get what he was supposed to get. And I know that from
Mm-hmm.
Immaculate. The Immaculate didn't try and help him like they should have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wesley got that scholarship on his own.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting you say that too, because I know a lot of people I've spoken to just kind of even doing some of this stuff here is just like just not having like I guess that knowledge or just other resources as far as to navigate that whole recruiting time. Some people just didn't know,
That's
didn't know things.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm.
But it's like everybody's plot is gonna be different, man. Like
Yes.
nobody's gonna have the same path. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to strive and try and find what's beneficial for you
Mm-hmm.
and the right thing. But you first, like I said, number one thing is you got to believe.
Yeah, I believe. Yes.
That you got to. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking from experience. I'm not talking about somebody telling me something. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking from life experience. You got to. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter how much money you get or how much fame you get, you got to believe.
That's,
Otherwise,
mm-hmm. That's right.
it's
That's
real. It's real.
mm-hmm. You're right, Mr. Mullins. You're right. And I know you mentioned just kind of with the basketball thing. Do you have a favorite game of Wes's that sticks out? As a father, like a game that sticks out, one of your favorites of his.
He got so many of them, man. It's like got a
No,
hard.
no, do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite one that?
Uh, I don't know. I think that like when they competed against Essex Catholic,
Okay.
they had a hard time with Essex Catholic, but
Mm-hmm.
I like the way, and they didn't win the game, but I like the way he played against them. He
Okay.
didn't, he didn't show no fear,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
didn't show no fear, and I like that in him,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Yes. And I know. I want to say. I mean. Thank you, Mr. Mullins. And the reason it's interesting, and probably using the wrong choice of words, but earlier you stated as far as when as far as becoming a father, what have you, as far as not knowing as far as what to do or like how to do it, or along those lines here. But you actually did, and I think you was a presence. You was a presence, and I think that's one thing I've taken from you as far as being a father of a now 8-year-old myself here that I saw with you. Like you was it wasn't the money, it wasn't anything. You was present. And that's just so important to me as far as like I saw that in you growing up, and I just again as an adult you look back and try to find things and model after people that you've seen as far as, but and that's the one thing, like I think if nothing else, from Wes or even probably Olivia or whatever the case, you're present, and I think that exceeds any dollar amount, and I just wanted to say thank you, just being able for me to model some of the things such as like that from you here, just as an adult, but even as a kid here, whether whether it was getting a chance to hang around you, the car rides or whatever the case may be. From the bottom of my heart, I really wanted to say thank you, and just have an opportunity to sit here with you. You don't know how much this means to me,
Well,
So thank you.
it's good to like talk with you and just like express some of the things that you know that I've been through, and hope that I can give something or say something that will help any young person
Hmm.
going forward.
Hmm.
But like I said, I found out that that present is very important because, like, I can tell you about that because I came from a broken home, like I was telling you,
Yes.
and I never wanted to see my son be like that.
Hmm.
You know, so
Makes a whole lot of sense.
yes,
Yes.
it was. I didn't want to see that.
Hmm.
But you also got to have a mate
Yes. Yes.
that wants the same thing. You
Hmm.
can't do it by yourself.
Hmm.
You got to have a mate that wants it.
Hmm.
It will work.
Hmm.
But from where I can see with you, you're doing a good job.
Like I said, people such as yourself, I better be, as far as having a chance. Like I said, a lot of, like I said, black men and such as yourself. Obviously, my father and everybody else here. I better. I ain't got no choice. That's kind of how I look at it. She ain't asked to be here, So
That, that's
that
true.
right. Hmm.
That is true. That's true.
Hmm.
So you have a responsibility.
Yes.
That's right. I understand.
Hmm.
And I always thought about that. That when like I was, I'll kind of reiterate this a little, like I was telling you, when I used to sit and watch my son,
Hmm.
and he'd be sitting in the floor watching TV, and I would start thinking about, like, well, you know, he's not going to be this age forever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
what do I have to give? So that's what I thought about.
Hmm. Yes. Nah, I appreciate this, Mr. Mullins, so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time. I know that I don't know if the food on the grill right about now, but over
No,
there
I'm
for you.
all right. I'm all right.
Uh,
I'm good. It's good
well,
talking to you.
nah, definitely.
Good talking to you. And even anytime you want to, like, reach out, talk, I'm here,
Thank you.
and I'll be here.
Thank you.
As long as I get a blessing, I'll be here. And look, thank God for you, and
Hmm.
bless you and your family
Hmm.
going forward.
Hmm.
And stay strong.
Nah, likewise, and I'll definitely make it a point to reach out, even just to say hello.
That sounds good. Appreciate it.
Likewise, you be well, Mr. Mullins.
All right, son.
No
God
problem.
bless.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. All right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. I appreciate these times, these moments here. Like I said, get a little touch, just have an opportunity to talk to Mr. Mullins here. Oh, yeah, like I said, good stuff. Well, I'm gonna step away on that one here. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.